Good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. It's a beautiful day here in Maine. Started working on my wall, the last wall I have to do, and yeah, got a lot of card stuff to talk about this morning, which is always exciting. Um, we're going to jump in, but this is my Sunday. Every Sunday morning, I do an episode where I cover all the weird and wild things that happened in the past week. And today, there are a bunch of big time auctions, including the biggest auction sale of all time, biggest public sale of a sports card of all time. So we're going to get right into that. That's the first thing we're going to cover today. I'm going to share my screen. As always, if you have any comments, throw them in down below. All right, here it is. At Heritage, this 2007-2008 Upper Deck Exquisite Collection Dual Logoman, one of one, Jordan Kobe, sold for $12.9 million. Remember, the previous sale had been a few years ago. It was the SGC 9.5 Mickey Mantle 1952 Topps, the finest known example from the Rosen find, if I remember correctly. 12.6 million. This one was 12.9 through Heritage. So yeah, I mean it's a little bit weird to me that we have a card that most people had never seen before that is now the highest sale. And it's a PSA 6, which is really cool because a lot of people think, oh, you need to have a PSA 10, you need to have a SGC 9.5, you need to have a Beckett 9.5 for it to have value. And this is a PSA 6. And it is two of the most iconic athletes of all time. So that's normal and good. It's just odd. I guess it's not odd. It's a card that most people have never seen before. And there's actually a great story behind it. And I encourage you to go to Adam Gray's Twitter. He's probably on Instagram too. He told a great story about how a guy bought it for 25,000 and then sold it for 170,000 about a decade ago. This very card, and then the newest seller of it gave him a gift. And I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, Adam Gray on Twitter or probably Instagram too. I'm barely ever on Instagram. Great story, and Adam Gray does a great job with this type of thing. So yeah, 12.9 million. What do you think about this being the number one card, number one sale of all time? And no matter what, if you're pulling a $13 million card or a $13 card, you have to protect your cards. Last week I showed these, and a lot of people reported they went out and bought them and loved them. Magnetic card holders through the Penny Sleever, pennysleever.com, thepennysleever.com. You can get 10% off your first order using my code JWH2025. These mags are the best. I have a bunch. They are highly desired and fantastic. Go to thepennysleever.com. The link is in the description of this video and buy those or any other supplies using my code JWH2025. Another one, Heritage had a ton of stuff here. One of them was I covered this, I think, last week, PSA 8 Michael Jordan debut ticket stub, sold for $280,000. And this was a family that had 4 of them. And I think they must have decided to keep 3 or they're just selling them slowly. Yeah, cool story. And this one, also another, well, this is a LeBron. I liked it better when I could open a photo on Twitter and it would show me the text next to it, but now you can't do that apparently. 2003-4 Exquisite Collection, gold RPA, number to 23, PSA 9, 10 auto, sold in a private sale for $4.25 million and confirmed to Card Ladder. So that's pretty big. It's got a three color patch there. Nice LeBron autograph if you're a LeBron fan. Speaking of insane card markets, PSA 10, 1990 Topps All-Star Griffey. This isn't even his rookie card. It's an All-Star Rookie Cup card. And Griffey Collector says this is irrational. And yeah, it is pretty irrational. This feels to me like a $100 card in a PSA 10, but selling for $900. All right, let's just take a quick look through. You've got the $12.9 million card there. A signed Mickey Mantle 1960 game worn jersey sold for $5 million. The Herpelsheimer 1916 Babe Ruth rookie card sold for $1.4 million. This Wilt Chamberlain PSA 10, and this is not the finest known example of this card. That one sold last year when it was found in the back of an old grocery store. That one sold for $1.7 million in SGC 10 and was quickly crossed to a PSA 10. Here is a PSA 10 that is clearly inferior based on centering. Sold for just shy of $1 million, which is interesting. If this one sold for $1 million, the other one sold for 1.7, I don't know. What does that make the other one valued at? A Mantle autograph, 52 tops, 1.1 million almost. And here's the Mantle in white, last name in white, PSA 9, sold for just shy of $1 million, 1969 tops. We have one of the greatest basketball cards of all time, George Mikan, 48 Bowman, PSA 8, sold for $500,000. We also have this Jordan signed 8x8 foot floor, piece of floor from the Delta Center, United Center, autographed, inscribed, sold for $560,000. This was one that I was really interested in. Remember, PSA 10 sells for about $200,000 of the 86 Fleer Jordan. If I remember correctly, they were saying that this was going to sell for $800,000. They were estimating it at $800,000, which I thought was crazy. It sold for $464,000, which still seems crazy that it's an SGC pristine 10, and all it is a very minor difference. But high-end market is out of control. You've got 1915 Cracker Jack Joe Jackson SGC 8.5, sold for $354,000. Here's 1916 Morehouse Baking Ruth, $317,000. I covered this on a video, I don't know, 6 months or so ago. The rarity of the Morehouse Baking. Here's a 1914 Cracker Jack Joe Jackson, $226,000. Some massive sales here. Heritage. Yeah. Got a couple things I wanted to cover here. This is 1939. Remember, Mickey Mantle debuted in 1951. This is his elementary school class photograph with the earliest known Mickey Mantle autograph. He signed it on the back of this when he was in like 3rd grade or whatever grade this was. There it is right there. This sold for $34,000. What a weird and unique thing. And when I say weird, I mean that in a good way. We have the glass negative used. Here, I'll show you. You probably recognize this photo if you're into vintage at all. It is right here. Same item, same photo. Sold for $61,000. Type 1 photos, plate negatives. These are big right now. All right, and then Ryan Stadler on Twitter said you should pair this Craig Elo, the shot that Jordan made over Craig Elo, hit this. This is the hoop from that shot. You should pair this with that Jordan signed United Center floor. Put them up in the same room. Iconic. 2 weeks left on that one. Sorry, 15 hours, not 15 days. So it ends tonight. And that PSA 10 Wilt may have only sold for $1 million because of this. It's got a lot of scratches. And this is from the legend Auburn 35. he found some old tweet from last year where PSA said the most common flaw that keeps this card from earning a PSA 10 grade is print defects on the front surface. Yeah, I can see why. Yeah, interesting. All right, and then this WNBAcards.com points out that PSA 10 Caitlin Clark silver prisms are down 37% from their all-time high. Yeah, I mean, she's injured. She hasn't played in a while. 37% is surprisingly low, which to me indicates a pretty robust market for her cards when she hasn't played in a long time. I don't know. What do you think? 37% feels like a pretty light dip to me. All right, eTops. Tops shut down eTops this past week and shipped out cards, and there are a lot of examples of this. Shipped out cards in plastic bags, unprotected. And there are a lot of people who are pretty upset about it. Like, this appears to be a numbered Mike Trout rookie card. At least that's what people are saying. And you can see it does say 2011 on the back, Mike Trout, and you can see that it's numbered here if you look closely. And they just ship them in these plastic bags with no protection otherwise. Yeah, so they shut down eTops, and a lot of people, like, here's another one here. They're missing one card, and the Pujols is damaged, as you can see, very badly bent, and they need to file a claim. Tops won't do anything about it without a claim. Yeah. And here's another one. This one was shipped in a box because there were a lot more, and you can see the cards are loose in the box, and then they're just kind of wrapped up in bubble wrap. Pretty crazy. All right, this is always the dream, right? This is, jeez. This guy says, a guy walked into their 50 table show and asked if any of his childhood cards were worth anything. Yep, you've got some value here. Some Ernie Banks rookies, some early Mantles, some Hank Aaron rookies, some 54 Mays, 54 Jackies. Oh, 50, man, this is a dream. Imagine having a 50 card show, 50 table show, which is pretty small, and somebody comes in with all these. So he's helping. He says we will be helping him with this, which I hope means getting them graded and sold for him, and then only taking a small consignment fee. All right, here's a pet peeve of mine. This guy's excited. I'm not going to try to pronounce this Red Sox player's name. He's called the password. Justin Nixon. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. And I watched his premiere, and I still can't pronounce it. This guy's excited. He's got all these cards. Very cool, kind of rainbow type thing of the password. And he posts, he's excited about it, and he gets all kinds of comments from people talking about how terrible the autograph is. This dude is excited about his cards and about his guy. And you got all these comments from losers who have nothing good to say. Just move on. He didn't ask you your opinion on the autograph. All right, here's a good one. PSA 10 Jacob Mizorowski auto numbered to 5 versus a 1955 Sandy Koufax PSA 7 rookie. Which you'd rather have? Mizorowski is about $18,000. Koufax, $7,000. This is easy to me. The chances of the Mizorowski being worth even $3,000 in 2 or 3 years is very slim. The Koufax, though, is far more likely to hold value and, in fact, go up. And I know value is not everything. But when you're spending that much money, you're definitely thinking that. The person who spent $18,000 on this Mizorowski probably was trying to flip it immediately. Buy it for $18,000, flip it for $20,000. All right, this is a weird one. Uh, this is um, we have a serious scandal brewing. This person says zero color chrome autos have been pulled or sold of Rada, Nelson Rada. Except for these, both sold by burner accounts. The gold is on card and not a good Sharpie. The gold looks to be signed in Sharpie aftermarket, which means someone in the player or agent's orbit likely lifted these and is selling them secondhand, according to this person. And this is one of the known missing cards, missing autographs from this set was Rada, who they just never showed up. And I don't know all the details of it, but uh, yeah, they just suddenly showed up, and now people are very suspicious of this one account that's selling them. Be careful out there. And Ben Burrows, a journalist for Collect, says that he forwarded it to the right people, and the right people, which is presumably Tops, but I don't know, have confirmed that they have received it and are looking into it. All right, this is a post that always bothers me. Just to illustrate what an absolute scam eBay, Feebay is. And then he talks about the fees of eBay. And I'm sorry, but if you sign up for eBay and you agree to sell cards there, you know what the fees are, and it's not a scam. And maybe he's just using hyperbole, but all kinds of people are asking him, what's the scam? And he says the fees. But that's not a scam. That's their fees. That's how they make money. And they give you the benefit of having all their audience, all the eyes in there on it. If you don't want to sell in there, you don't have to. Nobody's forcing you to. There are a million places to sell cards nowadays. Okay, we covered this, not this guy, but a different one a while back. This guy bought this card here for $10. You can see it's just a plain old Terrell Davis patch. And then he replaces the patch with a much better looking patch, quite frankly. It sold for $100. I covered a guy like this last year, I guess. Boy, did he get mad about it. But yeah, I mean, when you're taking patches out and replacing them with better patches, there's a market for that, obviously. People might even know that it's fake, but you're putting it out in the market, and the people who are buying it from you may not necessarily say, hey, this is fake when they're going to sell it to somebody else. I need somebody to explain to me the value, or not the value, but the appeal of a laundry tag patch. I don't understand it. Why would I want this Mizuno major quality laundry tag? I've never understood why people want laundry tags. All right, this is a really interesting one. If you've been following basketball cards, you know that this card is still missing. The Curry, LeBron, Durant, Tops Now, post Olympics, triple auto. It's been missing ever since the Olympics a year ago. Well, somebody claimed that it showed up, and it was listed on Golden, as you can see here, as a custom card, one of one, and it had been bid up to $2,300. But it had sticker autos, and it says custom card. And somebody tagged Ken Golden and said, hey, what is going on here? And Ken said he just saw it now for the first time and he pulled it. So somebody at Golden felt like this was a good thing to list. They did list it correctly, custom card. But Ken, as Ken said, I do not want that type of item on a platform that has my name on it. And while it was advertised as custom card, someone else can sell it, not us. Yeah, that's right. And this is the same problem as the other one. You sell it as a custom card. Somebody else may not. They might tell you that it's legit, it's the real thing. All right, here's an interesting one. A ticket that Beckett slabbed as Jackie Robinson's minor league debut sold for $32,000. It does not have a date on the ticket, though, and doesn't have an opponent. So there must have been some sort of research that Beckett did that confirmed this was legit. PSA refused it. They rejected it. There are a lot of hints on here. First of all, it's opening day, game number one, 60 cents. So maybe they're able to just say, based on these hints, that it's good. I don't know. All right, this is Jason at Heritage. A 1996 Upper Deck U.S. Olympic Michael Jordan Reflection Signature Card, Jordan's first ever pack-issued autograph basketball card, and one of his rarest. Only 6 copies sit on PSA's Pop Report. Pulled back in 1996 by their consigner when he was in elementary school. Pulled it then, had forgotten about it, and is now going to PSA to be graded, and then it'll be auctioned off. Pretty neat. Here's some, and Jason says, here's some cards I promise you have never seen before. And he's right. I don't think I had ever seen these before. They actually look kind of AI. I wish I could make this larger, but so this is a Yastrzemski, but the name on it is Clough. And I know Vintage Dan's going to tell me, so that's not how you pronounce it, but it doesn't matter. These are test cards, 1968. 3D issue test. It was never meant for public distribution. A small number of these were released in the New York City market, highlighted by the Clemente, which we're all familiar with. But yeah, these are pretty neat, pretty unique. We already covered this. All right. A lot of people are upset about this. PSA wrote a letter, an email to this guy saying that they had damaged his card, and they're offering him market value for it. And people are upset about this, but I mean, it's good when PSA tells you, hey, we made a mistake. The issue that I see here, and this is funny, they write, during our sealing process, we encountered damage to one of your items. It's so passive. Why don't they just say, we accidentally damaged one of your items? Right? All right. You know I love a good set completion of something kind of unique. This is the 2016 World Series champs Cubs team set from Topps Dynasty, completed. Patch autos. Each variation only has 16 copies. That's pretty cool. All right, Memory Lane. Remember last year, 18 months ago now almost, Memory Lane shipped themselves cards at the Best Western in Strongsville, Ohio, ahead of the Strongsville Vintage Card Show. And $2 million of cards went missing. They're stolen by the front desk worker. 2 cards are still missing. They recovered all the other ones, but 2 cards are still missing. Those 2 cards are, and here he is. Those 2 cards are the Ramley Walter Johnson, and the play ball PSA 8 Ted Williams. So they're suing because apparently this guy was suspected of stealing not only from that same hotel before, but also from a previous hotel that he had worked at before. And they believe it's negligence. And there are other things like there's body cam footage of somebody at Best Western saying that they don't actually secure items, even though that's part of their advertisement is that they provide secure storage for items for people. They say they don't actually provide secure storage. It's because it's just if something gets lost, it's just a insurance claim. Crazy. All right, we have Memory Lane, some big ones that this just started, and I was interested in this. This is a Ty Cobb back T206, currently at 100,000. And then we have a T2. Yeah, this is not a T206 Derek Jeter. 1993 SP Jeter, currently at 78,000 for a PSA 10. These are cards I'll be following as they go through. Former Miami Heat security officer. We talked about this just a few weeks ago. This came to light, and he's already pled guilty I never understand the difference. Uh, Former Miami Heat security officer stole millions of dollars worth of game used jerseys, hundreds of them valued at about $4 million, if I remember correctly. He has now he sold more than 100 stolen items worth $2 million. Already pled guilty. This is the third Gehrig Luckiest Man speech ticket PSA has graded. They just graded this one. I'll be very interested to see if this goes up for auction. That's a big ticket. And this is a Jack Caglione, whatever, all this stuff I'm not going to read. PSA 10 sold for $5,000 2 months ago. Just sold for $1,500. Same card, not the same exact card, but same thing. Let me see. Am I looking at this right? Maybe I'm not. Blue, Chrome Auto Blue. That one's blue. This is Blue Wave. Oh man, so different. Sorry. But yeah, the market for this type of card is always going to go down unless in the short term the player has a massive start, like a Roman Anthony type thing. This is a weird one. Two rare NBA jerseys claimed to be from the Malice at the Palace. Ron Artest, Ben Wallace. No bids yet. Starting bid $15,000 with a day to go. And these are autographed. And in this, it says these jerseys are likely highly sought after by collectors and fans. The jerseys would carry significant significance as they were worn, but these are not. There's certificate of authenticity available upon request, which tells me that there's not a legitimate, like a legitimate company that has certified these. But it's interesting. I'll be interested to see if these sell. All right, the New York Mets purchased 15,000 Topps Now cards celebrating Pete Alonso becoming the franchise's home run king. And then they're grading them with PSA. They're grading the numbered cards. 15,000 fans receive a base Pete Alonso or a chance to get a tier 1 through tier 4 graded premium card. Purchase special event tickets and guarantee a premium graded card by PSA. It's interesting. These a lot of sports card promos now with sports, which is fun to see. I'm not sure how I feel about it. All right, another completed. Well, this isn't completed because he's missing the one of one, but here's Tarek Skubal, kind of a rainbow. It's neat. Now, I would have moved these bottom four so they were centered, but that's just me being picky. Very cool. One collector put together an entire 2022 Prism Gold WWE set, all numbered to 10. I'm not a WWE guy, but I respect a cool collection. And that is definitely cool. Anthony Bennett, probably the biggest bust in NBA history. This card sold, it was purchased almost 2 years ago for $2,600. This is his rookie one of one logoman auto. And it just sold again for $2,900. And Chris Hoge, House of Jordans, says after fees, probably broke even. Fees, shipping, inflation, probably broke even. All right. I'm not into Garbage Pail Kids, but I was interested. Maybe they've been doing this a long time, but they're doing. This is performance used guitar strings are now in this Garbage Pail Kid of Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day. I think this is pretty neat. Just a card I thought was really, really cool. I've covered this one before. This is, what is this called? Gold crystallized, number to 50. Another card I thought was cool. Hidden Gems. Topps Chrome. Aaron Judge, numbered to 5. Very neat. I think I've shown this one before, but it popped up in my feed again this week. This is Cal Ripken Jr. Topps Dynasty with a great Orioles patch. Game used. And last, this guy spent 2 years waiting for, I believe it was this bottom left one, to complete this team logo jumbos to get the full logo. Very neat. Very neat. All right. That is it. 30 minutes. Perfect. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have an amazing Sunday, and I'll see you again later this week.